Boom, boom, boom. Welcome in, welcome in. Boom, 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 boom. What's up, what's up? Gonna plan on talking about Facebook, big tech in general, Donald Trump, their ban, some of the suggestions from the Oversight Committee, Donald Trump's kind of rhetoric a couple days ago about the big lie, and then whatever else you guys want to talk about. Yeah, and go ahead and sound off. Let's see where people are at. I'm from the West Coast. I'm from California myself. What's up from Guadalajara? How you doing? Is that Castillo? How you doing? Welcome in. I know I saw Shy in here. Shy, go ahead and comment. Everyone go follow Shy. She's awesome. Working with her on some stuff. Welcome in, Robin. Pray for Columbia, absolutely. We got someone from Oregon. What to do from Michigan. Hugo from my neck of the woods. Nice, nice. Welcome in, Cynthia. Yeah, I'll just probably hang out for a few minutes. See what's going on. I might have someone jump in with me. I haven't got word on that. If not, we'll just kind of go ourselves for a little bit tonight. So, from Georgia but in Chicago. Nice, nice. Very cool. And then maybe let's hear you guys' opinions. Go ahead and maybe let me know what you think of Facebook's 6-month ban. We'll kind of dive into why that's a 6-month ban and kind of the recommendation and kind of how that kind of came to be. Let me know what you think of Donald Trump, or if you even know about Donald Trump, what he said a couple days ago in regards to the 2020 election, and that being the big lie. And then we'll kind of maybe talk about some of the history of Nazi Germany and how that might relate to what's going on right now. So let me know in the comments what you think. If I miss a comment, like always, just kind of spam me. I'll try and get to it eventually. I'm not trying to ignore you. Sometimes these things pop off, sometimes they don't, and it's a little easier to get to people. So, is that from New Hampshire? What's up, what's up? Hey, Shy, is Mike hopping on tonight? Welcome in, Will the Deal. Nice. Detroit, go Red Wings. You love to hear it. Because I know one of the things I saw was a common take today was people discussing they weren't happy with the length of the ban, or only 6 months, things like that. So we'll kind of... he hasn't jumped in the restream yet? Was the election rigged? We'll discuss that tonight. We'll dive into how we know that it wasn't. We'll kind of jump into some of the nuance of claims of fraud, things like that. We'll look at the different branches of government and how they kind of address the claim. So I'm just waiting for a few people to kind of jump in, then we'll really get going. But what do you think, Hugo Boss? What do you think about the election? Let me hear your thoughts before I go in myself later. Oh, I appreciate that. You're a badass. And I'm doing good. Oh, that's nice. Yoda, like the name. I'm doing good, Yoda. How you doing? Hey, welcome back, Mountain. Good to see you. Alright, cool, but we know he's alive and well. What's up, Thought Mind Chan? How you doing? Welcome back. Alright, we got a few of the regulars in here tonight. Nice, nice. Alright, there it is. What's up, DJ? How you doing? And I think you guys probably know what I plan on talking about tonight. You probably saw the title of the live. But if there's something you want to talk about, let me know in the comments. Maybe we can pivot to it at some point. Appreciate that, Max. What up from Ohio? Wasn't rigged, he just... yeah, I mean, his narcissism won't allow him to accept the loss, right? What's happening today? Well, what happened today was Facebook made their announcement on his ban based upon the recommendation of the Oversight Committee. We'll kind of talk about what the Oversight Committee said, because there's actually a lot more to it than just an extension of the ban. Yeah, what's on the agenda, Chris, is Facebook ban, big tech in general, Donald Trump's reaction, conservatives' reactions to it, and then we'll also discuss Donald Trump's usage of the term the big lie a couple days back and why that's really significant, what we need to know about that as it relates to kind of history. Yeah, I know people are, but here's the thing. So it's kind of surprising they extend the ban, right? Except for the fact that literally just 2 days ago he called the election the big lie, right? So I mean that's directly at the core of why he was banned to begin with, because that type of rhetoric has already incited violence, and there's no protection from that. Even like First Amendment doesn't constitutionally protect you from that kind of speech, right? Because the standard of free speech that it's allowed before government can come in and kind of infringe upon that, right? Either through like jail time, a fine, censoring it, etc., whatever it looks like. The standard is you can't incite imminent lawless action, right? Once it hits that level, boom, you can be infringed upon. And his speech has already incited violence upon the election, right? So any continuance of that speech is just going to further incite more violence, right? We already know it's happened. It's literally already happened. So you can't keep utilizing the same fucking speech that's already led to imminent lawless action. It's not protected. And these aren't government entities anyways, right? These are private companies. And their only shield really is Section 230 liability, right? We've heard that talked about a lot in the news, especially last year when Donald Trump was talking about it, trying to do his executive order on Twitter, right? And so Section 230 liability, all that means is, someone's messaging me. So what that is it gives social media companies and big tech companies a kind of a liability shield, right? But what they're not shielded from within that is anything that like violates a federal crime, anything that like would incite imminent lawless action, for example, anything related to sex trafficking, and then copyright. Right, those are things they have to like immediately kind of block, right, and get off their platform, because Section 230 liability doesn't account for that. But everything else is pretty much fair game, because they can't really be held liable for what we post on their platforms, right? That's kind of what some of the debate is. And what people don't realize is, as much as we need to break up big tech, we need to kind of find out how they're kind of doing things with their algorithm, right, with their AI, with their kind of oversight and things like that. There needs to be more transparency there. But if you remove Section 230 liability, they'll just censor the fuck out of everybody, because then they'll be held liable for each and every one of us. So that would it would be the death of it. So let me check out some of these comments real quick. And to anyone who's new in here, like I said, if I miss a comment, it's not because I'm trying to ignore you. Just hit it again. I'll get to it eventually. At some point, I'm going to pull up what the Oversight Committee actually put out themselves directly, and I'll kind of read their recommendations. It'll take about a minute, but there's a minute worth of recommendations they give to Facebook that what they need to do. And it's pretty interesting, actually. Big part of that is, oh, sweet. I'll accept this. My dude. What's up, man?
How's it going? Not much.
Bad.
I didn't know you were online. I didn't know. I'm on Eastern time, so I knew you said 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir. No, yeah, I hopped in a few minutes ago, but no one else is going to hop on. So if you guys don't know, this is Mr. Just go ahead. Introduce yourself.
My name is Josh. Down goes Frazier. So.
Yep, he's as anti-Trump as they get. Something I do is I'm trying to collect anybody who's willing to call out the MAGA assholes, pardon the language, but because they're a big problem. That's what we're going to be discussing today, actually, in large part, is Donald Trump, the big lie, some of his rhetoric the last couple of days, Facebook, the extension of their ban, things like that. So I kind of will usually kind of go through the comments, kind of see what they got to say. We'll kind of bounce off that. Obviously, me and you will kind of bounce off each other. And if there's any comments you see coming your way, you can pause and kind of address those too.
Yep.
Cool. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Jackson.
What's up, Jackson? I'm Matt. Nice to meet you, bud.
Nice to meet you.
Aren't you supposed to be going to bed?
Yes, and I came down to get a drink.
Kid.
All right. Right. So did you see the news on Facebook and the ban extension, right, for 6 months?
Yes, I did.
What were your initial thoughts, reactions?
Good. Like, everything that guy uses just a bunch of bullshit. So this is my wife Jenny, for everyone.
Hey Jenny, nice to meet you. Matt.
You?
She's the brains of all this operation. So
right, gotta have someone behind the brawn, right?
She's not very political on TikTok, and she should be, because she is cutthroat. She's like you. She's just...
You should jump in. We need all the good minds to jump in. That's the thing, man. We need all great minds to jump in, do their part, because the smart people want to unplug, but we got to do the opposite. So
I know. It's just the hateful hacking comments that I'm like, you know what? I don't have this to do. Like,
just ignore them.
I know, but like I can't. Like, I'm not that kind of person that can be like, oh no, I'm just gonna tune it out. And then like we've 6 kids, so I have all of that to still have to be able to do, and I know that it would just get in my head. I do want to like do something, but I don't think TikTok is.
But that's the thing. That's kind of the cool thing, right? Everyone can find kind of their own way to do it, right? Maybe more for you might be like maybe like more like a Facebook area or something, kind of more written or something, right? So, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do in general. Is just find smart people, utilize their skill sets, right? Kind of connect us, kind of find a central theme, right? But then everyone kind of go do your thing, right? Add your own flavor to it. But we got to be kind of organized so we can like mobilize towards certain, legislation maybe. Maybe there's certain local races, whatever. But if we all were to just kind of channel ourselves in one direction when needed, we can be powerful. And social media lets us do that. So
I love that idea for sure. Please
all
don't.
right, let me pause and address some of these comments here real quick. What up, Gusto? Welcome in, my dude. Let's see. What's up, Hart? Welcome in. MC, what it do? Anti-vaxxers. We might be talking about anti-vaxxers tonight at some point, I'm sure, if we're talking about Trump. But let me get your opinion then. So something we're going to talk about was just the Facebook ban of Donald Trump. It got extended by 6 months. The Oversight Committee gave certain recommendations, which I'm going to go through at some point. But what were your initial thoughts on that? Good, bad, not enough?
I didn't realize. I guess I didn't pay too much attention to the exact time frame. 6 months doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I think it should have been definitely longer. I do agree that like every time he says anything, people just like zero in, and it makes them absolutely crazy. So giving somebody like Donald Trump, a platform like any social media it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like it is. It's dangerous because the people who listen to him, they don't just like listen to him. Like they're absolutely batshit crazy over the things that he says, and that's not going to change in 6 months because they're already, they've got their 2024 plan. So
22.
Exactly.
Right. It's not. I mean, unless every 6 months it's up to be reevaluated, and by some insane drastic measure, we're in a completely different political climate in 6 months, which I don't see. I don't think he should get it back then either. And I don't think it's like because it's a private company. Facebook has the ability to monitor who's on there and what it like. It's
So, what's interesting about that? Sorry, cutting out a little bit.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and finish. My bad.
It's like the whole bakery that refused to make like a gay wedding cake. Like they had the ability to do that because they were a private company. Oh, that's their right. And
well, that's kind of the amazing hypocrisy of the conservative camp so often, right? You can understand it when it comes to religious freedom, right? And freedom of association there, but all of a sudden cancel culture is a crazy effing thing if it's anywhere else, right?
Absolutely.
And I actually agree with that court case because there's a little nuance to that one, right? Personally, do I agree with that? Hell no, obviously not.
Right.
But the case itself, it's like, look, he's not saying no to your service in general. He's saying you can get anything you want here. He's just not going to specifically do something for that. Okay, maybe that's fair. All right, fair enough, right? I personally disagree with that, but
absolutely,
all right, whatever. But the problem is they have to extend that to everything then, right? It's not fair. It's not fair just to protect your religious freedom. You got to protect everyone else, right? Religion, creed, etc. But the interesting thing with the Facebook ban is when they originally dropped it on him, right? It was indefinite. There was no timetable. And part of the recommendation from the Oversight Committee that was dropped today by them was that you can't just give an indefinite ban to anyone, apparently. It has to be some kind of set time. There has to be some kind of stipulations that they can kind of like meet to possibly get their profile back. So that was kind of interesting to see. So I didn't like that. Verbiage. But that also meant for anyone who's like getting banned on Facebook, regardless of how big you are, it can't be indefinite, apparently, if I'm reading that correctly. So that's interesting.
That is it. I mean, the fact that it can't be indefinite, for like everybody, just a general, that's really good. But yeah, for somebody like him, somebody that's such a high profile public figure that has such a long history of saying crazy things to try to, for reaction and for the publicity and to see, who will do what for him. I just think it's a dangerous road to go down to give him any type of.
To that end, though, it is going to be under constant review, right? So if he's still doing these same things, then, just going to have to extend it then, right? So it's just, I think the thing is, it can't just be indefinite, so.
Right. But I don't think he as a human being is capable of making somebody in his camp is probably going to be like, okay, well, and be in charge of all of your posts. But as soon as that person hands the reins back over, once like everything is given back to him, it's probably 24 hours before he's banned again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not going to take.
That's kind of the problem, because there's two things going here that are going to just never allow him to stop. Number one, his ego, right? This is a hyper narcissist, so that's just, to your point, in his nature. That's not going to change. And number two, he's making a lot of money off this little game, right? They're making a lot of money off this whole election lie bullshit, right? Because there's a lot of donations coming in. You got to support the RNC. We need your money for litigation. You got to help us out, right? We got to fight. So, and yeah, to your point, still coming. It's like 200 million plus since November 2nd.
I know I heard about the new app that he was supposed to create too, but I don't know
the new social media,
how true or accurate that is. But
I haven't really looked into that myself, because I'm like, yeah, when that happens, I'll see it happen. I'm sure there is something going on. I think it's going to happen.
I mean, that's all it is. It's, you know.
Yeah, they would probably pay like a subscription fee to be on, like a monthly subscription, just to be on his like version of TikTok or Facebook or whatever it is. It's disgusting.
Yeah, 100%. Well, so it's crazy about that. Ever since he got deplatformed, right before he got deplatformed, there was an average of almost 51 million mentions a day, I think, of him, like something to do with Donald Trump, and that's dropped now to, it's now about 1.9 million a day. So I mean, that's a huge drop. That's a huge, like 80% plus reduction, right? So nice. So like 80% plus reduction, right? So yeah, not very, very good, right? And plus, like when QAnon got deplatformed, there's almost 90% plus reduction in like QAnon related traffic. So it's like there's something to be said for like deplatforming and corporate censorship, but it's like, where do we draw that line, right? So.
But QAnon got started on like an underground website. Like, I mean, I'm sure that is still, even though they don't have access to like the mainstream media networks, they are still doing their.
Yeah.
Where it all originated. What were we just watching? Yeah. It was something I think about where it all started or how it all started. It was crazy.
The guy's named, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they know who it was. And I mean, it's just what they did was, it was pretty sophisticated in terms of how they kind of utilize like just like the information pathways that exist within the internet structure and the social media climate, right? To just spam that shit and run it through, and then it spread like wildfire, man. They did a good job. Ugly stuff, but they did a good job. It's something I think the left should actually maybe model in their own kind of communication paths, right? Kind of study what they did and kind of take a little bit of it and utilize it in our own message, because the right brand's way better than we do. They brand a message way better than we do. So let's see. I'm gonna check some of these comments out real quick. Everyone's replaceable. In a capitalistic society, we are. What's up, Quizzy? Welcome in. Thank you, Mohammed. Welcome in. And like I said, guys, drop your comments. Let me know what you think about the conversation. Agree, disagree. Just try to remain somewhat respectful, obviously. Don't have to be super nice. And of course, go follow my buddy, Down Goes Frazier. He's good people. That's another thing, man. I'll keep saying it every time we're here. The right's a lot better about this, all right? They're way better about, like, they're like little silly follow trains and shit, because they feel like it's like a real team, man, because, like, they don't have substance, so what they do is they kind of buy into, like, the little tribalism, right? And they just kind of rally around their stupid little racist flag, and meanwhile, we're over here all infighting and shit about how to fucking move this shit forward, and it's like there comes a point in time where we just got to kind of rally together sometimes, get ahead of them, and then we can debate about shit, right? So, we don't have the greatest strategy.
We need a coach, like a football coach that can.
Right. Bill Belichick. We need Belichick to come run us, man.
Right.
Well,
you guys go on Instagram. You guys hit up Snapchat.
I'm on the gram. I'm not a Snapchat guy, man. It's just kind of, I don't know.
It's fun.
I got my Facebook account banned, and that's how I discovered. And I've been over here ever since. Like,
you got banned? Big fucking shocker. Couldn't see that coming.
Yeah. TikTok.
Yeah, we were. I wish I had TikTok last year, last summer.
Yeah.
Going on.
Let me pause real quick, just kind of address a good question there. So the topic of discussion today in general, we've already been kind of discussing Facebook's ban on Donald Trump, some of the kind of nuance, the oversight committee's decision there. We still are going to talk about Donald Trump and the big lie and kind of why that's so significant and how it relates right back to this conversation of the Facebook ban. Because some of the what goes behind that decision of the ban is the type of rhetoric being used, right? The type of language he's going to use and the impact that has on public behavior and whether that creates like a climate that kind of leads to violence, right? And if he's going to continue to use the same rhetoric, right, that he did in the build-up to January 6th that led to violence, if he's going to continue to double down on that, well, then he's going to continue to get blocked because that's what lost him his platform to begin with. And what people don't understand is that's not constitutionally protected speech anyways, right? Because that does incite imminent lawless action, which is where the standard is for First Amendment speech, right? For where government can come in and censor, fine, jail, etc., whatever is appropriate for what they're doing. So kind of pause there. If anyone wants to respond, check out the comments real quick.
What back to like how like his speech and his actual verbiage and things that he said. We were watching on January 6th. Everybody, you know, and I look back and forth, and then I get to the point where his actual speech comes. Literally, I'm like, listen to what he is like. How is nobody interrupting him yet? Like, in the middle of his speech, like, he literally telling them to go attack the government. Like, he's giving them orders, and lo and behold, 20 minutes later, they're breaking into the Capitol. Like, as he was saying it,
yeah.
I'm obviously not a Trump supporter, but I was like, how does nobody see it? Yeah, it was mind blowing. Like his word choice, like everything about it. And honestly, like as horrible as it is to listen to, it's brilliant in the sense that he knows exactly what he's doing and exactly who he's talking to, and every word and every syllable, like they're hanging on to it. The words that he emphasized, like everything.
And that goes back to social media platforms as well. Like, you know, you have to get out.
The branding, they've got the code words that, like,
yeah, 100%. Well, to your point, he's good about that though. It's like that little double speak, right? So within the same like sentence, even sometimes, right, the same speech, he'll say we have to fight, right? He'll say we can never concede, right? He'll say that they've stolen it from us. We have to, again, never concede. We have to stop the steal. We have to go down there and make sure we're heard. But then he'll also say peacefully. That's a direct fucking contradiction, though. Those can't both be true. And which one's the crowd going to believe?
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. It's the less important component of getting their point across.
Yeah, 100%. The next thing we're going to kind of dive into, though, is the big lie. And the biggest thing I think people need to remember is where that phrase actually comes from to begin with, all right? And the big lie is a phrase that was coined by Hitler himself in Mein Kampf, okay? So Hitler wrote Mein Kampf in 1924, really. It came out in about 1925. He wrote that while he was in prison for an attempted coup. He'd already attempted a coup, right? That's what he got sent to prison for. That's what he wrote it, right? And so he wrote about the big lie, which is basically this idea that come out and tell a lie so big, so bold, just so crazy that it's, some people be like, oh, that's like so freaking crazy. How could you lie about that? It even has to be true, right? And then you just go with it. And it's just pure bullshit. And you just double down forever, right? And 2 days ago, Donald Trump referred to the 2020 election as the big lie. He actually utilized the phrase. He didn't, not just utilizing strategy, but he brought the phrase out, and that's what he labeled the 2020 election as. So of course they're going to keep banning him if he's going to keep utilizing that election. Because I mean, he's like literally, he's just voicing Hitler's own strategy aloud now. He's not even hiding it. So, and here's the thing, man: if you already try to overturn an election, it doesn't get any better from there, right? Like that's already like freaking crazy. So what's the next step, right? So we got to get serious about this shit. I don't think the left doesn't fully understand the significance of what's going on the right now. Media is stupid because media just loves the fun kind of hit clips, right? They're not actually educating people on how pervasive and how serious this issue is. So yeah, no bueno, man.
Yep.
Let me see. You got any comments in your section you want to address or anything? We can kind of pause. Check some of the comments out here.
I have nothing.
Dope. And remember, guys, do me a favor, go follow him. He's got some pretty good clapbacks on Trumpers and whatnot. If you like, just love some good old fashioned shit talk that the MAGA tribe deserves, because they'll step in it and he'll give it to them. So.
I hate those fuckers.
Right, I know, dude. They get on my dude. That's why I'm on here sometimes, man, just to talk shit to them because they piss me off. Yeah, I mean, so a lot of what Donald Trump is just textbook fascism. I mean, the anti-intellectualism, right? I'm not going to say inherently anti-science, because like the fascists did utilize science, but it wasn't exactly. There's some pseudoscientific kind of bull jive in there too, right? But the kind of distrust of media, right? The distrust of democratic institutions, the hatred of the far left, of liberalism, of communism. Yeah, I mean, it's all there, right? This kind of like the Messiah complex type of thing.
In and of itself is.
Guys are kind of cutting out. What was that part?
Their hatred of Antifa, like in and of itself, mind blowing. Like, what do you're anti-fascism? Like what?
Right. And I mean, there's a conversation to be had about various chapters of Antifa, right? I mean, but to your point, the concept in general, it's like, what? Like, what?
Yep.
So, and kind of some of the history on Antifa. So to your point, Antifa is a reaction, a response to fascism in Europe, right? So it was born in Europe, really post World War II, kind of during that whole era there. It really got going in the U.S. around 2007, 2008. The first kind of really well-known chapter here was the Rose City Antifa. And they're kind of from Portland, kind of Pacific Northwest area. That's kind of the first chapter. And that kind of became a movement around then. And it really accelerated, obviously, with Donald Trump kind of coming to prominence. So.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So, boom. Guys, Gusto's always got really great commentary. That dude knows a lot of shit. I learn from him sometimes when he's commenting on some of this stuff. And he's like kind of going back to back with the MAGA trolls. So, he's good people. Check out what he's got to say in there. Let me just catch up on some of these comments. And you guys feel free to comment as I'm just kind of checking out the comments.
I'm just trying to figure out when the whole anti-science thing became real, you know. Not believing it.
I don't know, man.
Religion? The creation of religion?
2016. Well, yeah, obviously. But, you know, ever since Trump took office in 2016, it's just went out the fucking window.
Well, I mean, it started pretty early with the whole blah, blah, can't talk. Alternative facts, right? Like, I mean, right away they're talking about alternative facts. And remember, what people kind of forget, science in itself is just a process, right? So it's not like science has the answer. It just has a conclusion based upon the information we have at the time. But there's gaps in that information. That's why the process is always subject to kind of review, right? And things like that. But yeah, man, they don't understand that very basic fact right there. And to be fair, a decent amount of people on the left don't understand how to science either. So it goes all ways.
True.
The country as a whole is not. COVID kind of exposed that, right?
The American education system leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Like, we grew up in a pretty decent school district, but even just the history we're taught, just in terms of manifest destiny, for example, right? That's a bullshit conversation. Like, because they don't teach it critically even, right? It's almost introduced if it's like our divine right, you know? Like, oh, the white settlers were meant to come here and just expand across the land and, like, you know, do their thing, and it was their divine right, and, you know, blah, 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 and it starts from there, right? So, oh, baby, everyone, go check out Mindful Skeptics. He's good people. He's someone actually has invited me on his YouTube channel a couple times. I'm going to be on his YouTube channel tomorrow. He's good people. Check him out. But this is my buddy, Down Goes Frazier. Originally I just liked the name. I was like, oh, dope. And I checked out a couple of his videos, like, oh, nice. And then yeah. So, and he's cool. He duets and kind of like everyone always says they're about it, but then when you actually like highlight other creators and stuff, there's a few people who actually follow up. He's a real one. So,
thank you, sir. I'm telling you, she needs to get on there. She is deadly.
That's the thing. That's what we're trying to push, man. That's one of the things we're doing is so. For example, Cheyenne for UBI, she's awesome. Boyce with the Mindful Skeptics, he's Mindful Skeptics, he's awesome. We're trying to work on this little group called Massive Collective Action. And the idea is to kind of help people kind of make their presence felt on social media, whatever it is. Right? Let's help them get kind of started, give them the tools to kind of feel confident enough to kind of step in there and make their own content, whatever it looks like. Right? Maybe it's written, maybe it's video, maybe it's both. Maybe you're helping edit right behind the scenes. And here's the thing, if you don't want to do that, even just being involved and sharing, right, liking, commenting, kind of talking about these things with friends and things like that, everyone can involve themselves. So
Yeah.
Boom, there's the tag. Yeah, let's see, 80 Reagan Bush mega churches. Yeah, Reagan's no good, man. Ronald Reagan, the myth of Ronald Reagan, we're gonna have to attack that one as time goes on, because they really attach themselves to everything he's done, and it's like, y'all don't really know what he did, do you?
No, they have no clue. None. Yeah.
Living in right now.
Honestly, I think
from that.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like, the reason it's hard for me to get into like the political side of TikTok is because like people's just general ignorance, like I can't deal with it. Like, how do you convince yourself that what you're saying, like, you have to be so far removed from reality that, like, I just feel like there's absolutely nothing that I can do or say that is going to be able to fix like your level of stupid.
Probably not, the sad thing, right? But that's why, because the reality is, you're not going to change 20 plus years of propaganda, for example, that's just been reinforced in a 1 minute conversation. But we can't ignore them completely either, right? What we have to do is you have to keep kind of planting seeds, right? Obviously, there's certain people, if they're like aggressive, if they're abusive, if they're hateful, leave them alone. But what we really have to do, the reality is, you're not going to really change the masses for the most part, right? Unless you know them personally and you can kind of break them down over time. So what you have to do is you have to target the opinion leaders, right? And you have to first deconstruct their idols, right? People like Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Stephen Crowder, things like that. You have to deconstruct them, right? Over time, just kind of take them down. Then you also have to find the opinion leaders who are actually receptive to your message, at least somewhat, right? They want to hear you out, because you change their minds, and then they spread the message down to the right, because they'll listen to those people, right? They're not going to listen to you no matter what, whether you're angry, kind, etc. They're not really going to listen to you. So you have to find the few opinion leaders who will kind of somewhat listen. You have to win those debates. So, and then the message does trickle down from there.
Okay.
At least that's my game plan. So, for example, like what's a couple of the lives I've done is with a couple of MAGA supporters, like outright MAGA supporters, and a couple nights ago I had a MAGA Rob on, and I think he'll disagree, of course, because he's got too much pride. But I think I got him to kind of see the light on a few things, or at least come close. And the goal is to have people like that on, because he has like 40,000 followers. And it's like, if even 2 people, 3 people go away kind of with a little bit of a doubt in their head, right? And it's like, cool, perfect. Like we did something, right? So, because it's a long game. Everyone's got to chip away a little bit themselves. So, let's see.
Yeah, nice. So,
what time is it? All right. I might be getting my buddy Mike in here soon, so probably we'll give it about probably a few more minutes, and then what were we trying to hit? Anything you guys want to kind of hit within the big lie, the kind of history of Nazi Germany as it relates maybe back to today, social media, big tech, anything that comes to mind there for you guys, or anything else you want to hit in general? Any topics you guys care about, or you want to plug right now?
Sure.
You just cut out a little bit.
I said anything you want to hit really quick is whatever.
Me? Nah, I think well, let me see. Let me see what we've got in the comments here. And then Shy, if you want to text me, let me know if Mike's still jumping in or not. We'll nail that down. Doubt is kryptonite to MAGA, 100%. Yeah. So, that's what we can kind of do. Religion and science, because we kind of are starting to kind of get into that a little bit, right? So I don't know about you guys. Oh, see, I love that. Everyone's like, no, not religion. I'm not religious myself. I'm guessing you guys. No, Tim, this is not a debate. Typically, I'm not really going to do debates, like unless someone really wants to. The last 2 times I had someone on, they were obviously people with different views, but I was really trying to have a discussion so they kind of feel comfortable enough to talk, so I can kind of explore their logic and kind of force them to confront why they think the way they do. Because if it's a debate, people get really defensive. But
Right.
these are like-minded people. We're just having a fun convo right now. But their heads kind of hung. We brought up religion. So what? Agnostic, atheist, spiritual, non-practicing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say spiritual, definitely not religious, but we have kids, so it makes me feel better that if something happens to them, then, I don't know
Yeah.
what it, there's something after that. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, myself, I didn't grow up like religious at all, and like if forced to commit, I'm probably atheist. So it's like I'm not really, not in the religious community. But I don't think that religion and science are actually contradictions. I think that a lot of people create contradictions with them if you try to insert religion in places you shouldn't. But if you take religion just as like a prescription, right, just as like a path to walk through life, right, as a metaphor for life, you're probably going to be fine. If you think there's actually some physical hell, some physical heaven, and like these are like real things, we're going to probably have problems, because that's where you start to get in the way of science, because science is trying to describe these real things. So yeah.
You're
The whole
describing
God
Buddhism.
and the creation of Earth, like you can't believe in that and believe in science the same, because they're obviously contradicting. But yeah,
100%. Like it just doesn't really work like that.
You can't believe in
But
God things and still believe in medicine.
yeah, you have a hard time with the big three religions, and right, the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving God. And then when you introduce free will, but like suffering, and evil and things like that, you have some contradictions that you probably have to address, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, well,
thanks for hanging out with us.
Of course, guys. Appreciate you guys jumping in. So I'll have to do this again sometime. Get your live up and go, my man. I'll jump in there sometime. So, all right.
Bye.
Later, guys. So yeah, that was Down Goes Frazier. He's good people. Like I said, if you like the clapback videos and you like when someone's going like in on a trumper, do it. Yeah, if someone wants to jump in, just I'll try and do this more often. Just kind of give me a heads up. Obviously, I'm always down to do dual lives with people. I'm gonna stick around and keep doing this for now. I'm not going anywhere, because we can kind of get back more to the comments and address this for now. Might have someone else jumping in a little later. Well, let's see what we got here. Do want to kind of get back to the Facebook thing, because it's just kind of more in that. Again, I am going to read through the recommendations that the Oversight Committee actually gave, because there's a lot in there that relates back to people like us, even just your everyday users of Facebook. So, and it's good information. All right. In fact, I might just do that now, man. Let me catch up on some of these comments here, though. See what y'all got to say. Oh, that's funny. How do you get accused of racism? That's no bueno. Anyways, all right. So, I'm gonna pull up the Facebook thing. Let's dive into that. Let me find the. Cause I want to get into some of these suggestions, because I think people gotta know about this stuff. But the thing is, Facebook's not allowed to give an indefinite ban, apparently. So when they first did that, so what happened is this oversight committee was looking at the pretty much the validity of their initial move, and whether that was kind of right based upon their rules at the time. And then they kind of looked at how they handled it since then, and they gave them some suggestions on how to move forward, right? And yet, see if I'm planning on having someone in here. So. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, let me get to I think I took a screenshot of it, actually. Something weird like that. But yeah. Oh, he's setting up now. Alright, yeah, we are going to get someone in here. Sweet. so I'm on standby again. So someone asked about Tom Powell Jr. Last night. And I think isn't it kind of the a little bit older, big old beard, kind of glasses. Seems like he's got kind of a country vibe to him. Smart dude. If he's the one I think you're talking about. So obviously, yeah, I like him. Whenever he comes across my, his big thing is he's great on like poverty, UBI. That's kind of where his focus is. Online activism. He's done some work, did some work with the Yang Gang and kind of their campaign. Dude's brilliant in my opinion, but we can't tell him that, so I got to tell you now. Because you know how it goes, man. You say something nice to people, and whoop. And the poor guy, he's from Florida. I don't know how y'all Floridians do it. Happy Wednesday. Welcome in, Mr. Not Stanley Tucci. He's got great content, guys. Super informative content. Go follow him. I know I learn a ton whenever he comes across my way. So, thanks, man. Like I said, appreciate your content as well. That's a big thing, too. Since you're in here, my man, is just trying to connect other content creators and trying to make sure we're on the kind of the same page. Maybe highlighting the same things, right? For example, like HR1. For example, the congressman or the conspiracy queen. I refuse to use her name, for example, but the her opposition there, things like that. So, but yeah, awesome content creator. He's got good stuff. I learned from him. That's a cool thing, man. I got a lot of good followers. I learned from a lot of you guys. Y'all be keeping me on my toes. No, Carnage, I didn't have time yet. I'm slacking. I'll literally put it into one of my links right now, so I'm forced to do it tonight.
Yo, what up, motherfucker?
What? Ew, dude, you already got a little grin? Yes. What's up, man? How you doing, dude?
Yeah, I'm good.
I was gonna, I couldn't help it. I didn't know what I want to do. Like, I was gonna say something nice, but like my natural instinct was to talk shit. So I was like, I don't know what to do.
It's
Double stuck there.
Just stick to the talking shit. If there's ever doubt, talk shit is the answer. What is that?
Cats against Trump, bruh. Cats against Trump.
Cats against Trump. I'm down with that. My cats hate Trump.
Yeah, cats against Trump.
Yeah.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Black likes him though. We
were talking about Facebook today, man. You see what we're talking about the title? We're talking Facebook, Facebook ban, big lie, Hitler, big lie, Mein Kampf, coup, insurrection, history, all that shit. So, all the good.
Can I tell my best story or the thing I'm most proud of about the insurrection?
Yeah.
Give me my involvement in it. So this is my involvement in the insurrection was I got into it with Paul Gosar on Twitter, and he actually responded to me on Twitter, and we went back and forth at each other, calling each other traitors and shit. And yeah,
Can you tell people who Paul Gosar is, by the way?
Paul Gosar is representative from Arizona, who's a crazy ass, like
he's one of the crazy
leaders,
ones, like
crazy,
Marjorie like level crazy.
Yeah, the Freedom Caucus, I think the Freedom Caucus is the group on the right that's the hardest right, and he's like one of the founders of it with some asshole, I forget his name, Jim Jones. And anyways, so Paul Gosar, yeah, fuck him. And the dude Ali, did you ever see the video of that dude Ali who was like just a supporter that was coordinating those Stop the Steal rallies and shit? So this dude Ali, he was a big supporter and organizer for those rallies, and he blocked me on Twitter because I harassed his ass so much. And that's before me and Gosar got into it. But yeah. I don't know. I just like to fucking point out
because that's fucking awesome. I'd love to spar with any of those bastards. But Shai said there's a couple questions I missed in the chat that you are aware of.
Oh yes. So if I block the hateful, racist, truth-denying MAGAs, then my silence is complicity, right?
So if you block them, then you're complicit. Okay, that's a tough one. So I don't fully understand the question, to be frank, because I'm not like, so are you complicit in their silence because like you're like allowing them to be silent?
Yeah, I guess like if you block them, then you're by default silent and objecting to their, and so then silence is, if
But you can
silence
still
is,
speak, but you're not blocking yourself from speaking. I guess is why I've kind of So I think what I would say is it depends on the person, right? So if you like, everyone's different, right? And this speech, this rhetoric, this hate impacts everyone differently. For example, right? So what I would say is, first of all, if you're confronted with it, you should at minimum denounce it. You got to denounce
yeah,
it, right? If you find it
yes,
really harmful to your mental health, or if you find it like physically harmful or something like that, yeah, block and remove yourself from it. But people like me, frankly, who I don't think are really the target of this stuff, should utilize our privilege to actually push back against it. We shouldn't ignore it. We shouldn't block it. We should call it out and say that's wrong,
yeah,
and explain why it's wrong. So
that's
the thing
right.
is, and this is a big problem, is people want to unplug and get away from it, but that just concedes space to them to just utilize all of social media for their ugliness, right? Their rhetoric, and you got to step up and combat that because they're not going away.
That's right.
But again, I think it just depends on you as a person. What do you think how are you best going to be able to help and combat that, right? Because not everyone's going to be like on the front lines, like, putting their face out there, calling this stuff out, right? Maybe
Yeah,
you're just going to be, liking a comment. Maybe you're just going to be sharing a video with a friend to kind of inform them. Maybe there's something they didn't know about. But the thing is, we got to be having these conversations in our personal bubbles. We got to be informing ourselves. We got to be keeping up with local legislation, local policy, local amendments, things like that. Our local officials, right? We got to be keeping up with state things. We just got to remain informed so we can make good decisions, right? Um, but
that's right. I like, what I'm a fan of is if it's a real asshole that that you just you don't want them, spamming your comments and shit. Do the fucking smart ass reply and block right after. Like, get your word in, use their content, make your fucking point, and ban them right after so they can't fucking
yeah,
fuck with you.
100%. Yeah, that's kind of it. Sucks because like when I first hopped on here, my approach is like we'll just talk to anyone. I'll respond to anyone. I don't care. Like anyone can get it. But I realized no, they're really coordinated. They'll mass report you, and like they're not
Yep.
interested in talking at all. So yeah, you just got to get ahead of it. Like obviously you allow for disagreement, pushback. Not everyone's gonna agree with you. That's actually a good thing. But when someone's like just being really nasty or hateful or just not trying to actually have dialogue, block, get away from it.
Yeah. You gotta I keep my comment section clean. I don't tolerate bullshit. Like, I don't tolerate motherfuckers that are racist, bigots, science deniers. If I detect that they're being disingenuous in their fucking argument, even like I just block a motherfucker quick because I don't want them. I got some of my followers, they'll like go back and forth with them in the comments like all night, like, and I appreciate that. I respect that they're they're giving it to them. But at the end of the day though, some of them are just, if the disingenuous types, they're just wasting everyone's time and polluting your shit up. So use it for what it's worth, and then when it's not useful, get rid of it.
100%.
Second question: do you think a person should have some kind of political experience to be president?
You want to take that one first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Me? Not necessarily, but I think it helps tremendously. Like, I don't know that, like, Trump was an outside. I think that you're at an advantage running as an outsider, because the system's so fucked on both sides. But Trump was not. If you can demonstrate competency in decision making and that you care about this country, then I think you're qualified to be president. And Trump had neither of those. So
I think that honestly, the biggest thing you just hit there is the biggest thing you have to understand is I think as a president, ideally, is you're looking more for a leader, not a manager, right? And so you're looking for someone
yeah,
who's going to kind of mold the vision, right? And then kind of help direct people who can make that vision happen within their respective lanes, right? Give them the tools to make that happen, right? So but the problem is the last 20 years, because of the gridlock and just inability of Congress to actually get shit really done beyond, super fucking bullshit Mick related, Patriot Act related, fucking American, related shenanigans. They get that shit done. They come across, they offer all that bullshit. But
one theory that's been proposed as to why that gridlock in Washington is the way it is because when they eliminated the it was the pork barrel spending project. What was it? The add-ons, I forget, what did they eliminate? It was the writers. I just forgot the name of the term that they used to hold on. So, but basically, it used to be that Congress people could add on like spending, line item spending, and to bills, and it was a lot of pork that got added into our spending.
But didn't that kind of help push some? It kind of helped push some shit, though, didn't it?
Yes, that's the argument. Is that's sort of how we would get past these roadblocks. Is some congressperson that doesn't give a fuck about an issue, and his constituents don't give a fuck about an issue. They can literally just sort of bribe them with some cash,
yeah.
maybe.
Here's some for your district a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah. Yep. What was that called though? Now I'm gonna fucking drive myself
pork spending
nuts.
Or whatever, like pork, isn't that like pork or whatever? Like what's like pork?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking do this. Earmarks.
There it is. Yeah.
Earmarks. Yeah. What's up, C Gusto one?
Yeah, Gusto got it right though. When you're talking to these MAGA types, you just gotta put them on the defensive and question them and make them actually like explore why they think something. I agree, Elvid. I kind of agree. I think someone said it best. You don't have to necessarily have experience within the political structure to be president, but you should certainly be well versed in civics, and you should have risen through the ranks in some kind of system, right? And you should have leadership experience in some kind of organization, some kind of business, some kind of system, whatever it looks like. That you should have. Absolutely. But that's dangerous too, because not all leadership experience is transferable. That's actually kind of a misconception. Just because you're a good leader within this context doesn't mean you'll be a good leader within other contexts, actually. So
that's right. A business leader is almost a disqualifier for me in some ways. Because,
and Trump wasn't a business leader anyways. He actually just was a guy who said you're fired on TV a few times, and a lot of times.
That's true.
People thought he was, because multiple bankruptcies. If he had done nothing but just invested his inheritance, he would have made more money actually. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of narcissist types that get that climb the corporate ladder to the top. So that's but it's case by case basis. At the end of the day, you gotta fucking you're not gonna be able to meet them in person. You gotta watch long form interviews and get a sense of who they are as an individual, and then make a judgment call. Do you believe that this person fucking cares and cares about people and us and this country or not? And that's it's hard to do when everyone's lying to you, but you gotta put the time in, and I think you can get a sense for that after watching the specific long form video interviews. Like that's where you can let someone talk and kind of get a sense for them.
It's what Joe Rogan did a really good job of. His long form with like Bernie, Tulsi, Yang, all of them. You really get a feel for someone.
Yeah, I came away like I sort of was curious and liked Bernie for a few years, but I'd never really dived deep into any of his policies. And then I saw him on Rogan, and I said, you know what, this dude's not bad actually. This dude's really like a fighter. Like, so
yeah,
we missed the boat on that one, America, y'all.
Yeah, we did.
Fucking, I mean, his whole career, he'd been screaming this shit for so long, and. Yo, what's up, boys? Boyce is on here. Mindful Skeptics. Yo, everyone go follow Mindful Skeptics. He's the real deal. He was just showing me some hilarious.
We'll be on Boyce's show tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stream it on TikTok. I'm gonna try to do push it out here and manage a chat or something that way.
If you want to check out, I think was it me and Shai and Mia on Boyce's show.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be on Boyce's show. So follow Resist for Humanity, this dumb shit right here, and if you want to check out our appearance on Boys to Show tomorrow, then yeah,
9
follow his page
Eastern
and check out his
tomorrow.
live tomorrow. And his live tomorrow will probably have it going. So same time tomorrow.
9 Eastern.
And then eventually it'll make the way to his YouTube and my YouTube. So yeah, right. All those bankruptcies, not a clue at all, right? Care Bear, go follow Care Bear. She's good people. She's like some of the best people on TikTok. All y'all go follow each other. I mean, really, we should all be kind of communicating with one another. Follow
That's
each other.
right.
Mike's got some of the best takes on online activism, Swarm, the
Let me give you
Pirate Party.
Yeah, let me give you a quick rundown. So if you are fucking, I had someone ask me this morning actually. Like it was actually in response to your video. So you made this call. You said you're gonna, you know, overthrow the power structure, right? And I'm down for that. Let's go. And commenter replied with, what can they do to help? And I get it. Not everyone has the ability to speak their mind openly. That's a misconception a lot of people have, that we have freedom in this country. A lot of people don't have freedom because they can't say what they really want to say on social media. They get fired from their job. Like, so that's you know, they can't be as outspoken as we are. But what you can do to help is just, you're already doing it by liking, by engaging, by commenting, by sharing. All of that stuff is helping more than you can imagine. And if you want to understand how it helps in a more academic sense, like start studying relational organizing is the term. Like look up relational organizing, look up online collective activism. There's we all need to grow our spheres of influence, and that means growing our follower count, and we can help each other do that. We can follow each other. We can like and share each other's content. And if you get the desire, you can actually become a content creator yourself, like get on these streams. Like we do stream, we're going to do a stream tonight actually, and we're just be hanging out and chatting and shit, and everyone's welcome, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's a chill, like it's a chill, informal setting. Like, and that's the thing, man. Like, I'm gonna kind of jump in here real quick, because like, so for example, a few of you probably saw it, man. Like, so like, if you've seen either one of our videos, you know, we can jump up here and be pretty bold, right? Kind of seem like assholes and whatnot. But the reality is, when you're in a more like kind of intimate setting, right? When you're in like a good chat room or something, like a restream room or something like that, you're trying to have good conversations, right? And it's not. There's this like weird thing. We got to kind of market the brand, but you also got to draw people in. Then you got to have real conversations, right? You gotta kind of extend the hand a little bit, right? So to the
That's
point,
right.
just
it's a
if
lot
you guys
of
want to jump in.
Yeah, it's a lot of the TikTok stuff is like just you gotta be bold and fucking you know energetic and emotional. The TikTok's algorithms like that shit, and like you know, me and my friend Robert, who is wrong about fucking everything that he thinks, including the election being stolen. He makes some flamboyant.
Yo, I got to interrupt you real quick. So Joseph Taylor just commented, "I'm trying to start a podcast for liberals in the South."
Yay! I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida. I'd love to fucking chat with you about it.
Your goal's kind of like to do like an AM radio, but like for the left in like deep red territory, which sounds kind of like
I think that's what needs to happen. Is if we could get a daily like talk show, like news talk show for progressives, and like just attack the right on these issues, like just use the same tactics that they do against us, but not lying, no lies, everything fact-based, everything evidence-based, but come at them hard, like come at capitalism. Like capitalism is the fucking problem with all, is the source of all these problems.
Since they soiled socialism, you got to soil capitalism.
That's right. That's right. It's called brand tarnishing or negative messaging in political science, and it works. There's a reason politicians do it, because it's fucking successful and it works. And once a brand has been tarnished, and it doesn't matter how much
it's
positive,
almost done, so yeah,
it's done. Yeah, you're not going to get it back. So we don't do that with capitalism. We never have. Like, we should be attacking capitalism daily for the faults that it are prevalent, especially after last year. And that doesn't mean like that you even have to promote socialism or communism, because they'll respond with that immediately. They'll respond with like, "Oh, it's communism." It's like, no, that this is fucking about capital, the problems with capitalism, and when they say they'll eventually have to say, well, yeah, if capitalism works, but you do have to like moderate it with interventions, and that's when you can have a real conversation with someone.
Capitalism will require reparations, regulation, and healthy government, motherfuckers. Otherwise, it's got to go bye-bye. And welcome to the path to communism. And they love that conversation.
Hey, who's the person that was?
Hold on, we got shit going on. What's going on?
Is that
right.
is that
They're not coming for me today. We're good.
Dude,
you never.
If I were
know.
you, I'd be.
You never know. One day, if we're lucky.
Hey, who was the person that wanted to do the stream in the South? The podcast in the South? Joseph Taylor?
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Taylor, follow me. If you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter too. It's resist number 4.
He'll link up with you, and maybe we'll try and get you in on here. Maybe we'll talk and figure something out.
Cool.
But yeah, Joseph, if you heard that, go ahead and follow my boy Resist for Humanity, and we'll get you in a stream or something, or we'll just at least find a way to kind of communicate further. Because you got similar ideas, it sounds like. It's always good to link up in that sense.
Yep.
And same thing, anybody, if you have ideas like that, doesn't matter what, don't be, if you got your shame tolerance has to increase. You know what I'm saying? You can't be afraid of what people are going to think. Sometimes you're going to swing and it'll be a good one. Sometimes you're going to swing and it won't be a good one, but just, it's all good. That's how you learn. Move on to the next one.
That's right. We got a problem in this country of people being afraid to fail and they don't take chances. And in life, you're not going to learn if you don't swing. Like, you got to swing at the pitches. And so my whole life philosophy is based around I don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck doesn't mean I don't actually give a fuck about anything. It means I don't give a fuck about the outcome, because the outcome's out of your control. You can do everything right and fucking fail miserably. You can do everything wrong and still fall backwards into success. So the only thing you can do is put yourself in the best position possible. And if you're not in charge of the outcome, you don't have to sweat the shit. Like, it's nothing to be worried about.
You can't control the outcome. You can absolutely control as much of the process as possible.
Yep. And you can fully invest in it. And fully investing in it and knowing that the outcome's out of your control, there's nothing to be scared of or shameful for that. That's just living life to the fullest.
Yeah, when you're getting that, we do need representation, Henry's. We need more AOCs in there. She's fighting by herself. The hate that she gets is so silly and myopic from the left. It's like, oh, we sent her up there to do this, this, and this. Okay, so she's by herself against the American fucking machine. The fuck do you expect her to do? It's like, we need to vote more of her in there. It's not, you see, people think they vote like one person in and their job's done. It's like, no, it's constant motherfucking maintenance. Constantly being engaged, constantly fucking reading, constantly fucking tweeting, constantly fucking voting every 2 years, right? Constantly staying involved, man.
You have to be constant. The lobbyists don't quit.
The lobbyists don't quit. The deep conservatives don't quit.
That's right. They are nonstop. Chomsky put it very well. He phrased it as in America, the system has convinced everyone that they've completed their political requirements by pulling a lever once every 4 years or so. And that is the exact opposite of the truth. Like, that's the bare minimum. Political activism is year-round. It doesn't end. The real activism is in
most
the
people
in-between time.
Most people aren't even doing one fucking lever pool.
I know. We got to, we need them in the primaries, is where you really, everyone's pissed off about their 2 options for president. Yo, you didn't show up for the primaries then, I bet. Like,
but we do have to and we have to get rid of first past the post.
Ranked choice voting.
It's like a 2-party inevitability. So we have to get rid of how we vote because it creates a 2-party inevitability. We have to institute some type of ranked choice voting, which would then allow for a 3rd party, because the way we vote right now creates a 2-party inevitability, right? And the 2 parties have a stranglehold on the primary process. So you have to address that. You have to address gerrymandering. You have to address Citizens United, right?
You know what? You know what I found is with a small group of activists organizing in Twitter private messaging groups, we were able to like pressure Congress people because there's so little like actual involvement from normal people, like calling up their senators, calling up their representatives. Like a lot of people don't even know their name. And so if you can get a group together and like coordinate and put pressure on them, you can get up their attention and get on their radar, and they'll listen because they're like, oh, I'm getting why am I getting these calls? Why am I getting these tweetbacks on this issue? And it's yeah, so definitely, I was surprised actually at how effective a small group could be that was organized in that way. Just yeah, stay engaged, man. That's the thing. We need more people active and engaged, and you know, yeah. Is everyone going to fucking fall asleep? That's what I want to know. When they open this fucking place back up, and all you motherfuckers going to go back to sleep and pretend that everything's fine and this shit didn't happen, or are you going to stay the fuck engaged and make sure that we finish the job here? Because
fuck Tommy Tuberville, dude. Fuck his bitch ass.
Yeah, fuck Tommy Tuberville.
Sorry, just someone commented that, so I had to say it. He's a new senator on scene in the South.
He's a terrorist.
I do want to address one thing here. Someone brought up, what's going on? Were you anti-gun? Oh, ew. I thought someone asked a gun question. I'm always down for the two-way convo, but never mind. It just was change the system, so never mind. I didn't even realize it was her, so I'd rather just move on. We don't have to address it.
Oh, it's changed the system? Yeah, she made some nasty video about fucking Brussels sprouts today.
Dude, a lot of y'all, dude, someone, you know, it's like the one debate I won't do. Someone was like, "Are you vegan? If not, I'll debate you." I was like, I'm not trying to get in that conversation.
Dude, I'll jump right in it with this. Lately, I've been thinking like maybe the vegan approach is correct.
I'm not saying it's not correct. I'm just saying I'm not ready for that conversation.
This I can't say his name. He says he's stuck in my life. He can't find his way out. Must be a Trump supporter. No, I'm just fucking with you, dude. Got stuck in there. Yeah, I'm glad it's enjoyable for you then. But yeah, no, the vegans, I think they might be fucking right. Like if you,
nah, dude, because here's the thing. Fuck them, dude. Fuck them. Nah, fuck them. Because they actually want to have this conversation. Okay, so I try to be nice, but you know me, I ain't nice. So you want to have this conversation, vegans? Here it is. You do you. I'm gonna do me. I like Carl's Jr. double Western bacon cheeseburgers. Okay, I like barbecue sauce and I like bacon. But here's the thing: you have to remember. Animals feel pain, but so do fucking plants, okay? So we know this. Recently, there's been some studies that kind of show, like, for example, if you, like, cut, like, tomatoes, like, leave, like, the stems like that, like, they give off, like, a certain fucking, like, whatever it is. I'm not a fucking plant fucking person, but they give off a certain, like, frequency or whatever, like, a vibration, and you can record it with certain, like, things. Like, we can't hear it, obviously, but it was certain, whatever that technology is. So, yeah, motherfucking plants give off shit, too. All right? That's all I'm saying.
Wow. I've got to look into that. I gotta vet that, but it does sound plausible.
I'm saying the plants scream in their own little fucking way.
Feeling requires nerves. They
give, all I know is they react in a way.
They react, though. They maybe don't feel in the same sense that we do, but they do respond. They know that something bad's happened. Their physical structure changes. It's okay to eat meat in moderation.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, more humane. That's the thing. More humane practices. Exactly. I think that we're probably omnivores, man. But
we are omnivores.
We don't have to do what we do with the food industry. That 100% true. Like the way we treat the animals and whatnot. That's so fucked up. That's 100% fair. Yeah.
American farm industry is very cruel to animals. That's a fact.
Bro, why the fuck are all my moderators fucking Brussels sprout eaters? That's disgusting. We're gonna have to fucking have a meeting and shake that shit out. God,
listen,
sad.
They're lying to themselves. If you think that you like Brussels sprouts, you're lying to yourself. It's period.
Yeah, how they treat. Yeah, Joseph, how they're treated is 100% wrong. Yeah.
He says it. One guy's Hutch says it's a chemical response to a threat. Well, so is a nerve cell firing. I mean, that's a. I mean, we're slicing hairs here. Maybe I don't know.
Can what up, Oakland? And Putt, I've heard that as a Pudgy. I've heard that too. but I've also heard the opposite. Like I've heard, I'm not a nutritionist, all that jazz. I find that people kind of find the conclusion they want to when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think in realities we're probably meant to eat all kinds of shit. It's probably just more about doing it in a sustainable, humane way that reduces suffering as much as possible. So
here's my take. But I was starting to think this lately that if you come, I don't know, I started to think like if I'm aware that me eating meat is ending the life of another animal and I don't need to do it, maybe I shouldn't. Now I love to eat meat. That's a huge problem. All right, so I'm not going all in on this, but the thoughts entered my head, and I wonder. Now I'm asking myself the question. No, Brussels sprouts are not fucking good for you. They're toxic. They
who
are.
said Brussels sprouts are good for you? Dude, you've got big vegetables gotten to you. Big vegetables gotten to you. It's not true. Don't listen to
their propagandists have it, like they collect their arsenic carriers. They're like just they collect arson from the soil and then they poison you over time. And they taste like shit.
I can't eat them because they're not good to me. Like I tried and like I don't like them.
And no one likes them. People say that they like them, but they don't. They're lying. And then to the point that they'll cover it up with they'll try to waste a bunch of bacon on it, like cover them in bacon and
That's
shit.
That's the point. Someone else said, "What do we have canines?" That's like, cause I've heard both, right? Like, sure, like I could buy into maybe we're supposed to be plant based. Like I don't know, maybe we're supposed to be. I don't dismiss it.
Yeah, but, I think we evolved eating meat, and I think that's why we enjoy it, and it's in our DNA. But at some point, if we have the mental cognitive abilities to perceive that there's other creatures with life and awareness and emotions and pain, and me eating them ends that, I'd say maybe it seems wrong. Now I'm not ready to jump vegan yet.
But then shouldn't we so hold on a second, so if it's wrong for us, is it wrong for other species?
It depends if they have the cognitive capacity to reach that point. Like if they don't have that ability to let's be real, like a tiger that's fucking hunting prey in the field in Africa or whatever, or lion. I mean, they're not. They're not.
I don't know, bro. I'm in the Carl's Jr. drive-thru. That's pretty much how I feel, homie. It's pretty much instinctual at that point.
Yeah. So now a big bowl of salad wouldn't do it for you in that moment.
That's a good point. We use teeth for many other purposes than eating.
What was that point?
Someone said we didn't have tools. We've used teeth for many other purposes other than eating.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll become a vegan ever, but I can see their point of view, and I've changed a lot over the last couple of years, so you never know. Maybe
if I ever become a vegan, just know I'm probably being held hostage against my will, and you should send help. So
I've smoked a lot of meat, man. I used to get into barbecue and smoking briskets.
What the message should actually be, by the way, it shouldn't be eliminate meat. It should just be everyone try to reduce some of the meat in your diet. Try to add in more salads and shit.
Now, Hutch says sustainable meats, eat beef grown with restorative ranching. I believe all that shit should be done for sure. Definitely, if we're gonna eat meat, then we should be doing it.
Someone commented, yeah, he smoked a lot of stuff for sure. We know you've.
Yo, that's a good idea too. TikTok.
Okay, yeah. See, someone does Meatless Monday, right? So.
Meatless Monday.
Yeah, but change the system, but it's good for my soul, right? So people always be talking about foods it's healthy, but but what about your soul? What about what it does for your soul? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bro, when you have a good old just.
When you have
today, today I had some hella good fucking. All right, so today I had some baller ass pork sliders with some amazing coleslaw over the top, right, with some baller homemade barbecue sauce, right, that they made, and then I finished it off with some pulled pork barbecue mac and cheese.
Ooh, pulled pork. Yo, thank you for someone sent me a present. I've never had one before. Thank you.
All this man deserves is coal. All right.
But fuck you, man. Man. I tell you this, I used my favorite thing was pulled pork. I'd get myself a Boston butt, fucking had my rubs and shit, and then I'd get that thing going at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and I would just sit there by the smoker drinking beer all day. Like, pork's really bad. Yeah, well, I mean, it tasted fucking amazing is the thing. Like, it smelled delicious, and it was like, you know, that was it's something about watching the smoker and the smoke come out, and you're sipping your beer, and you're outside, like, it's like all day long.
It's where we're meant to
You got
be.
it's a nice time.
It's where we were meant to be, dude. I'm not kidding. For me, it's like really a little bit of whiskey on standby.
Oh, yeah.
A nice one rolled up, right? Someone's barbecuing for sure, and there's a nice smell in the air, right? And
I'm down. I
But
remember.
I gotta admit, so since what brought this on was Mr. P's comment, is it Putaji? I'm terrible with names. He brought up a good point. I'll have to kind of consider about the canines that might not be related to diet necessarily, but due to the fact that we didn't always have tools and maybe it was utilized in different ways. So fair enough. That's plausible. I'll hear that out.
My guy here saying they don't feed the pigs right, and I totally understand that.
Yeah, that's just bullshit. Yeah,
I get it. Like I saw that America is facing a chicken shortage, because of our chicken wing consumption, and
ain't no chicken shortage. Magistan looks like they're fucking healthy and strong over there.
Fuck MAGA, fuck Trump.
Fuck MAGA, fuck Trump.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, we gotta the chicken farms, like with the fucking they got the little houses like a trailer, and they got them all in cages and shit.
Yeah,
and you can smell that stuff for
like shit on
miles
themselves
away.
and whatnot. It's fucking foul as fuck. Yeah.
It's not cool. It's not cool
all right,
at all.
How about that? We're adding that. Okay, fair enough. All right, where's my boy? Was it Pudgy? Tell me how to say your name so I'm not butchering, because I kind of feel bad about that. How about this? I'm adding it to the platform. If I can't completely change my diet, I can absolutely ensure that we make sure that animals are treated way more humanely if we have to eat them.
Yeah, I like that. That's bad.
Fair. We gotta, because like that's fucked up. Yeah, that's fair. We gotta get better about that shit. We're fucked up. That's fucked up. Okay.
If we're gonna keep eating meat,
lack of
we're
empathy.
gonna do it the right way.
I hear you. Fair enough. All right. I'm not a total asshole.
No, I mean, we listen to fucking reason. Like, that's the thing. Like, these are sensible middle ground. That makes sense to me. Ranching sustainably is a good solution to climate change.
So here's the real take on that. All right, if you want my real take, like no like joking, no bullshit. The reality is, there's two ways to look at this, right? Either way, we've become the apex predator. We're at the top of the food chain, and we have a responsibility to not just ourselves, but this entire freaking world, right? Because we have, to your point, cognition. We have some ability to kind of think about what the fuck we want to do, right? Beyond just our limbic system, beyond just kind of instinctual fight or fight, right? There's some level of thought. And so with that, we do kind of have a responsibility as kind of like stewards of the planet, right? To kind of make sure that if we have to do shit, we do have all the species in mind, not just ourselves. So
yeah, that's a good point, and that's my guy here. He's saying ranching sustainably is a good solution to climate change, and I think it is. When you bring that up, though, when Democrats bring that up, you know what the response is from the right is they're gonna outlaw steaks, they're gonna tax cow farts or like shit like that, and the thing is that that's all a distraction because they have no plan for the environment whatsoever. There's no environmental policy at all. There's no climate change policy on the right, and that's because of their largely because of their evangelical base, who believes
there's no policy on the right except for get judges into place and obstruct left.
Yeah. Get rich, get that money. That's it. Like, keep that money. That's their policy.
I'll eat Waguya beef. What you be talking about down there?
Oh, the Wagyu. I forget. I don't know how to pronounce it right, but Wagyu. That's a Japanese beef that is supposed to be the premier like beef, but they do some bullshit to create that, like force feeding them, or I forget. And I've had it once, and I tell you what, I don't know. I didn't taste that much. Give me American, normal steak anytime. But
What? I don't know.
I'm a little
Last
nervous.
thing I actually want to get to, one thing I want to get to, because we got far off. And fuck all this food talk. The big lie.
The right of it. Go ahead. What you got?
The big lie.
The big lie. Trump's trying to twist that around now and use that verbiage against the Dems. It's classic Trump. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant strategic move, and that's another example of the right's ability to outmaneuver politically with messaging the left. Sorry, you guys, we suck at this shit.
Mm-hmm. Because they're not willing to call it what it is. He's going to call it what he is, and he's going to fucking call them it now. So
that's exactly right. They're not willing to. Trump should be in prison.
Firing squad.
Paul Gosar, Tuberville, fucking you name it.
Matt
We
Gaetz,
know who they are.
Matt Gaetz, Devin Nunes.
Conservative just means slow learner. That's a funny take. I'll say that. I think that conservative and progressive, or I guess maybe liberal, I don't know the terminology there, but the left.
Progressive.
They just say progressive. There's a natural, back and forth there that can be healthy if the Republican Party were being genuine about stuff, because conservative mindset is someone that's scared of change, and maybe that's okay. Maybe that can temper progressive that might want to go change too far too fast, right? In a healthy functioning democracy and system, but that's not where we're at today.
Because it's based upon, there's two people get it wrong, because there's two people get this wrong. There's the people who are either or, right? They think it's one or the other. And then there's the people who think, this fucking douchers in the middle, who think balance. It's like balance is not a set midpoint, all right? And they think everything's no, both sides are wrong, 50, 50, 50, 50. It's like you're fucking wrong, actually, because neutral doesn't exist in life, because it's always moving one way or the other. The conditions always lean one way or the other. And so if you're in a more conservative society, right, more traditional society, you're going to need to push more progressive. If you're going too progressive, you'll actually need to rein it back a little bit, right, and actually install some traditions. So to your point, conservatives are supposed to be people who are some kind of range of more resistant to change, and progressives are supposed to be some kind of range of people who are more open to change. And the battle is figuring out what range you need, because you do need some mixture of progress and tradition, right? But right now, we need a lot more motherfucking progress, and these fucks are being reactionary as all hell because they know the walls are closing in around their version of white America, and so they're fucking losing their shit.
That's correct. They've lost it. The whole, and I am no fan of this both sides argument. I was a believer of that for a long time because I was not as engaged, not as dialed in, and so it's easy to fall for that nonsense and think, oh well, both sides are guilty, right? Look, both sides have faults, but that does not mean that both sides are equally guilty. And it, in fact, gives cover to those when there's many situations in life where there's one side that's at fault, and in U.S. politics that happens a lot. And to say both sides are guilty, just it's the intellectually lazy approach to
it's intellectually
politics.
lazy. It's intellectually lazy and self-righteous.
Yeah, it is. It is.
No, because it's what? Because you think, I wouldn't get my hands dirty like that. I'm above all that. But no, actually, you're not above all that, because that right there means you've actually committed to the side that's worse. Because nothing's fucking 50-50. And if you don't fucking play the game, you're helping the side that's worse. Because you're not helping the side that's better. And that always helps the side that's worse. Because
Hutch 72. He's got a good comment here. He says, I look forward to a conservative, small government Republican Party with alternative ideas based in science. Fucking me too, dog. What? I would love that. I'd love to see a smaller, government if it's Republican Party with alternative ideas, actually bringing something new to the table. Hey, here's a new approach to this solution that's better and it's evidence based. Evidence-based
anything to bring right
policy
now.
making.
They don't have
Evidence-based
anything to
policy
bring.
making. Oh, what's that?
They don't have anything to bring though.
No, they don't. They don't have shit.
And I don't even
And-
mean to be dismissive. Like we can actually like that's not just like a dismissive talking point. We can actually dive into that, right? So, for example, when Trump comes in as a president in 2016, right? What's Congress look like?
Congress was did he have the Senate but not the House?
I
It
believe
was
he had both.
Republican.
I
Did he
believe
have
he had
both?
both. I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I could be wrong. Someone check me on that real quick. But what the fuck did they do on healthcare?
They didn't do shit. The only thing they did was pass that $2 trillion tax cut for the rich.
And what's that tax cut doing right now?
It is
Little poison
not
pill.
doing
Little
shit
poison
for us.
pill that's on the middle. That's in the middle class. Look into that. Go look into that tax cut and look at the long-term effects of that after the first few years.
You know what? You're right. I remember. I've pulled that up, and it's ridiculous. What's going to happen?
Fucking people. His own motherfucking people.
Yeah.
They dismantled. Remember Obama? So here's the thing. So they talk about how Obamacare is such shit, right? And we can have that conversation. Obamacare wasn't enough. And like, oh, and here's the thing. Here's why they're sick fucks. They're like, oh, prices were still going up under Obama. Obamacare, yeah, by about 35% if you look at like insurance rates and shit like that. Guess what? They're going up by about 65% under Bush, you motherfuckers. They're going up even faster. So while it wasn't good enough, it still fucking slowed the rate, right? And so, which means there's still a fucking problem that needs to be addressed. And so their solution was to dismantle the motherfucker and do nothing.
Yo, we got some a couple of people I want to call out. Well, first, District 12 Kitty. Go follow District 12 Kitty. She's amazing. Boyce
so Kitty, jump in here and comment so I can push people right away too after she's done there.
Yeah, and then Boyce, he said that he went live on the Trickle Up with the TikTok contributors page. So Boyce runs the Trickle Up, which Matt's going to be on tomorrow with Cheyenne, and he's got to go to his Trickle Up website, and we got a page for all the TikTok contributors that are pushing out, progressively minded content, people trying to fucking change the system here. So thanks, boys, for doing that, man. Appreciate you.
And then sorry, Mia, absolutely, we take questions.
Yeah, so fire a question at us.
And what's up, Law? Welcome in.
Oh no, Kitty says she's been having a massive political existential crisis all day today.
On what?
What
how come?
What was the crisis, Kitty? Kitty, what was your existential crisis in politics? I gotta get to the bottom of this.
Is the mini going? It seems like you're raised by wolves, doesn't it? Well, because
like we are.
An important. I'll let you respond in a second there. An important thing to remember within the Republican Party right now is about 46% of them would go with Trump, right? So 46% would go with Trump. Of the remaining half are unsure, and half don't want any part of it, right? So they got to figure that shit out. Go ahead.
Hey, Robert, what 47 just joined? What's up, Robert? You fucking science denying election stealing.
What Kitty say though?
Libturd's at it again, he says.
What Kitty say?
Oh, Kitty says no, she hasn't said anything yet. She hasn't responded.
Cool. Hey, Robert, come get this smoke.
Come get this smoke. What's up, Robert? I think Robert he understood it the other night. I think he reached a point of understanding.
Did you see his video? Did you see his video?
The one where he responded to that
saying he didn't learn shit.
Yeah. I think he's just got a front. He's putting up front because
he's got a front.
It's a little hard to admit when you're wrong sometimes, and I think he understands. I tagged you in another video, by the way, today, just a bit ago. It was some of the court proceedings, Robert, where Trump's own lawyers stated that they were not claiming.
two-will addiction, 100%. They should eliminate that.
Eliminate what?
And yeah, Joseph Taylor, he was the one that was going to do a live with me. He ended up showing up. Were we not there for that, Joseph? Because I understand we waited an hour and a half. We were in holding.
Robert, I think he's a smart dude. I think he gets it. But
Okay, this
sometimes
is
the
actually
ego.
I'm glad this came up because we have Robert Maga in here, and so Mia asked, "I know this has been pounded into the ground. Do you believe there is no election fraud?" And so Joseph Taylor, no big deal. If you go to YouTube, Mute the Media, I posted it there. All right, so you can check it out. It's about 15 minutes. But anyways, yeah. So let's address that election fraud. We can confirm that there was no statistically significant election fraud that would have impacted the outcome of the election, because there's a key term there: statistical significance. Now, when you have voting interactions in the hundreds of millions, there's going to be a handful of things that go wrong, because nothing's perfect, nothing's pure, right? But of the instances of voter fraud that we found so far, they've been Republicans, actually. And it's like a handful of instances. And again, they've been found and they've been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, or shown a little bit of leniency because they themselves kind of owned it, right? And the judge was like, okay, we respect you for coming out, right? But what that means is there was nowhere near enough the numbers. You'd need like tens of thousands, right, to impact the vote, all right? So with that being said, there's different ways to confirm this, right? Because this country is built upon checks and balances, and those checks and balances are our legislative branch, right, and their ability to do things, right, our executive branch, right, and our judicial branch. The legislative branch is your Congress, right, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Your executive branch is your president, right, and the different departments: DOD, DOJ, right, Department of Defense, Department of Justice, right, CISA, right, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, these types of things, right. And then you have the judicial branch, right, which is comprised of your state courts, your federal circuit courts, right, and then the Supreme Court, right. So then you also have to take into account our federal system, right? Which means you have the federal government and then the state entities, right? So this is kind of a little bit of a checks and balances there too. And remember, there's also locales, right? So counties who have their own kind of local government. So you have those three levels there. And remember, within the election, who's actually running the election are really the local counties and the states, right? With federal oversight and resources and things of that nature. So all of these things are at play within our election, all right? Now, on top of all of that, the U.S. government, in the framework of all of that, there's media, right? Media, which serves as a watchdog of sorts, right? There's independent watchdog groups, both international and domestic, that serve as watchdogs, right? So we have all of this going on, right? So here's what we know. We have an election. The votes are counted. Within the local and state level, there's automatic recounts, right? So if there's a close enough vote, it's automatically recounted. There's automatic audit processes, and you can request recounts, right? So all that's available, and all that was done, all right? And all that came back the same. Further, there's legal things you can do, right? You can contest it legally, all right? So, and here's another thing. Most states, even if they have electronic voting, they have a paper trail that's mandated, right? So you can match up the electronic vote with the paper vote. Further, mail-in voting has been utilized extensively in certain states. For example, Utah. They love it there. The Republicans love mail-in voting there, right? Oregon has done extensive mail-in voting. Our military utilizes mail-in voting, right? So this whole anti-mail-in voting thing is really propaganda that dumb motherfuckers let seep into their head because Donald Trump said it on repeat. Despite the fact that, again, multiple states utilize it, both Democrat and Republican, and our military utilizes it, right? And fuck, I've utilized it my whole life anyways. So let's continue past that, right? There's also, so that's kind of just the voting system itself, right? The electoral process. The checks on that then is, let's say you go through the legal system, right? There were 70 court cases that Donald Trump lost at the state,
70,
federal, and Supreme Court level for two different reasons. Either stupid fucking procedural filing errors because they're fucking rookies, or because there is no motherfucking evidence to support the motherfucking claim, which shows us the court of law has motherfucking standards, which don't exist in the court of public opinion, which is why Donald Trump can say whatever he wants on Twitter, right? Which eventually gets him banned because it incites violence. But in court, they're not repeating the same claims because that gets you disbarred, right? You can get jailed, things like that, all right? So the court system, one of the checks, says no. The state and local level says no, right? Then there's the federal government, the executive branch under Donald Trump at this time, right? So the people he's put in place within the Department of Defense, right? Within the Department of Justice, right? Within all these entities, within CISA, which I mentioned, his very own people have to follow up upon these claims, and his very own department heads all claimed that there was no election fraud, that it was the most secure election in American history, all right? His own fucking people, all right?
Yep.
That's two of your fucking things right there. And then the legislative branch itself can follow up on some of these things with their fucking exploratory committees and things like that, right? They have relationships with people at the state level that they can follow up on and things like that. And they voted to confirm that shit on January 6th. And what did Donald Trump do on that day? He had a stupid ass mob fucking attack that shit when he incited violence by claiming the election was stolen, which is violent rhetoric, right? And he directed them down at the moment of the peaceful transition of power. All right, that's very significant. People don't understand that. So that's why I get pissed off about this shit, because it's a silly fucking question at this point in time, and people just don't. If at this point in time you're still asking, you don't understand or you don't want to understand. You're probably never going to get it. But if you're still pushing election lie rhetoric, you're a motherfucking Nazi at this point in time, because they've signaled what they are. So you understand what you're going to be in history. I don't fuck with that shit anymore.
Correct. Yeah, it's a hard no. It's a hard
This
pass
is what
for
Nazis
me on.
do. Nazis create
Yeah.
these types of conversations. They just create this culture of distrust in democracy, and now we have to fucking explain why our electoral process is still sound. It's what they fucking want.
Roberts responded with a couple of things. Kitty responded too. I'm going to get to her next, but he responded with, "Well, that just is just too perfect. Don't you think it's a distraction?" And then he said,
Why
"Fish on a hook."
hey, MAGA Robert, why do you hate your government? Why do you hate the USA so much?
Why do you
our
hate
election
your
process?
fellow Americans and not want us to have our votes counted? Like, we voted, and what you responded with is nothing. Like, fish on a hook, bros. That's just rhetoric that's empty and void of any evidence of anything. So, but hey, it is what it is. Now, Kitty's she said her explanation for her existential crisis here was, there's no consequences for treason, police killing civilians, selling out people for profit. I hear you.
Kitty's where we're at, dude. So, Kitty,
Yeah.
what you're saying is you think it's to the point where it's like, what the fuck? Why is this not open revolution? Is what I kind of hear when I think that, right? If there's no more fucking accountability for the leaders, right? If the people are fucking getting fucked by the system, why are we playing the game anymore?
Yeah, I think that even if you think that there's no hope of winning the game, then you still have to follow through to its to the end game. Just because you can't get the massive numbers of people to get behind you that's needed, unless they feel like you've done everything you can. But yeah, it doesn't look like a fucking democracy. It looks like bullshit. It looks like the curtain's been pulled back, and it's not good. It's exposed us. It's exposed our government, our country, and we need people to fucking stay engaged and get more, because no matter what I say to Robert about evidence and all that stuff, he'll never change his mind. And there's a lot of people like him out there. And it's not necessarily, I don't want to like condemn Robert. Like, he believes what he believes based upon the information he's been receiving, and it's wrong. He's been lied to over and over and over again. And we have to counteract that. And so,
well, here's the problem.
Ranked choice voting.
The problem is people like Robert hate the left more than they love America. They fear the left more than they love America.
Yep. It's about owning libs. It's about owning libs. And the reason for that is because libs want everyone to have health care and to have enough money at their job that they work full time at, so that they can afford to live and maybe go on a fucking vacation, That's what is so evil about the left. Don't use the argument of potato genitalia or whatever the hell other bullshit arguments they put forward, because none of that shit's real issues. Ranked choice voting can be implemented locally. That's correct. Ranked choice voting can be implemented locally. So if you want to get engaged and you want to actually like make a difference, ranked choice voting would changes the system so that it's not so politicians aren't catering to their extreme bases for turnout, and because you get the middle, the second choice, you get to pick a second choice, and so the more likable you are to a broader base of people, the better odds are that you'll win your election. So catering to the fringe is less advantageous.
And on that note, let me do a little sound off here. Hit us in the comments with your favorite politician on the national stage and what your number one issue is. If you're like a single issue voter, what would be your number one issue? Because I want to see what we got. What do people give a fuck about in here?
Oh yeah, in the comments. Yeah, I'm curious in mine too. Let's hear that. What's your number one issue?
So hit us in the comments, guys. What's your number one issue? If you're a single issue voter, And who's your number one? And even just do one if you want. And who's your favorite candidate on the national stage? You think has got a good message that people should hear about? Or we should kind of
Robert, I'm not going to repeat any more of your accusations until you have any evidence.
Thank you for a couple of them. So we got a couple coming in already. We got environment and climate, which I would agree are probably my top 3 for sure.
A livable wage from Ninja.
We got a second amendment in here. Oh baby, we got POTUS in here. POTUS for us. We got 2 AOCs. We got police reform, wealth inequality, and Bernie. Go ahead and sound off what you got so far.
The right works for the oligarchy.
No.
And a livable wage.
I thought you were reading something Robert said.
No. Fucking Robert. Robert's got to bring some evidence. I'm not going to keep repeating this stuff until he brings evidence.
Robert, I like you, Robert. I'm not gonna lie, Robert. I like you, buddy. But you're gonna have to bring them books, my man. So we got homelessness. That's a great one. We're gonna talk about homelessness tonight. Actually, I like that. We'll talk about Second Amendment. I like that. We'll talk about climate. I like that. We'll talk about AOC. I like that. We'll talk about systemic racism. I like that. We'll talk about criminal justice reform. I like that. Cool. Hit them all so far. Dope. Because they're all big topics, and all probably like in my top 10.
I like
and we probably start utilizing
way.
that language. The police state, right? Yo, we got a Yang Gang call out. Yang is cool. That was my favorite.
Yang Gang.
At the end.
What up, Yang Gang? Mass people. UBI, healthcare. Kitty just rattled them all off here. UBI, healthcare, housing, basic needs, abolish the police, systemic racism.
Boom. Well, let's hear it, Care Bear. Police state, yeah. We have to do something about the authoritarian nature of our government structure and the influence of the oligarchs and corporations on how we do things.
Human science and technology are the solution to the problems. Humans, it might be questionable. Depends.
My first executive order: ban all Jaguars fans. Ban them.
Fuck you. Jaguars are gonna win it all this year. Jaguars for get money out of politics.
So I want to address that real quick. That's fair. I wouldn't say that the administration hasn't been focusing on the humanitarian crisis at the border. I would argue that how they're handling the optics of that is not well. But they did just raise the refugee cap to 62,500. Not high enough, but that's up from 15,000. They are trying to put in like overflow facilities. And they're trying to like utilize like hotels and shit, not just cages, right? Now it's supposed to be 3 days hold, and they got to get people to their families. But they are trying to unite children with their families and things like that. They're not moving fast enough. I'd agree with that. It's not enough resources. We could be doing way better. And they need to. Someone should have gone down to the border already. That I agree with.
Yeah.
But as a nation, we've failed on this topic for decades, both left and right, from a legislative standpoint, whether it was a Republican-led Congress, or whether it was a Democratic-led Congress, or whether it was a Democrat in office or a Republican in office. Now, for example, oomph to it. If it's an executive order, it's left to the fucking whims of the next administration, right? So if someone comes along and disagrees with his action there, they can undo it, right? So, for example, when Biden came into office, he undid hella shit that Trump did, right? For example, when Trump came in, he tried to undo hella shit that Obama did. Because we can't get things done legislatively, it leaves them open and vulnerable to the next administration, right? So while DACA in idea was a lot of good things, they didn't get it done legislatively, which was the problem. It was kind of like a kicking the can down the road while trying to kind of put a Band-Aid on it. But it leaves that group vulnerable, ultimately, which is what we saw.
Southern Mama 96 commented, I think they cheated, and deep down y'all know it. You can think
Southern
whatever
Mama,
the
how about
fuck
this,
you
Southern
want.
Mama? No, Southern Mama, you got two choices. Sure, we cheated, and your loser president couldn't stop it. Or we didn't cheat, and you guys are losers and can't accept the truth. Either way, you guys are cowards, because if we cheated, why are you just talking to us? Why aren't you actually up in arms with the insurrectionists trying to overtake us tyrannical Democrats who stole your government? You're not. You're just talking shit like a fucking whiner, all right? So either you're a coward for not acting, right? Go send your sons to do what they got to do then, or you're a coward for not accepting the truth. I don't fuck with Nazis like you.
There you go. Show some evidence. That's all I got. I won't mention it again from you, Southern Mama 96, unless you have a fucking piece or shred of evidence, and you don't. So
you don't got shit.
Yeah. Kitty wants thorium reactors. That's a part that I think that the left gets wrong a lot. Is that if we're gonna transition to a green economy, nuclear energy can be done safely and
The left's gotta
is
get better
a
about that shit.
good stopgap. Like there's some
The tech's getting
panicky.
better, dude. The tech's getting a lot better, more efficient, safer even.
Yep, it's we use a lot of energy in this country, so we're not going to get there overnight, people. We need something as a stopgap. It's not perfect, but we ain't in a perfect. We don't have a perfect option. There is none. We humans own this sixth extinction. We will become a sentient global society. I hope so. I hope so. I think maybe let me ask you a question. Let me ask Hutch here, who said this a question. I want to know, how do we rapidly evolve the thinking of 70 million Americans? That's the question that's bothered me for months. Change the system. What up? What up?
Good. State and local government can't block things. Yeah. Well, that's what conservatives are really good at, right? Conservatives are pretty good at winning local and state races. They focus that grassroots shit pretty well.
Yeah, they say states. Oh, it's amazing. I looked at the numbers of for voter turnout in my county this last presidential election. And then I went back to prior years, and the Republican Party has like nearly 100% turnout. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts,
dude. They're dude, I'm telling you, like, for example, on this app, I'm not kidding. Some things are symbolic of certain things, right? I'm telling you, for example, that conservative dude had like 120,000 followers when I had that conversation with. He got deleted, and within 2 days, his backup account was up to 115,000 because all the motherfuckers are like just one motherfucking team, dude. They're a team. We're not a team. Like, we're literally not a team. Like, we're just not a team.
Yeah.
Like, we infight. We all hate each other. If someone has one idea we don't like on the left, we fucking, they're impure. Like, they might as well be Donald Trump, right? It's like, we fucking suck, dude. We're dumb as fuck.
It's really, our strategy stinks.
We're losing to conservatives, and we won 7 of the last 8 popular votes. Blue counties account for 70% of GDP. Congress, right? Democrats in Congress represent 20 million plus more Americans. Literally, if we look at red states versus blue states, and you look at education rates, right? You look at who's contributing taxes, right, versus taking in things like this. We literally know who's winning all that shit. Yet they're getting more judges put into place, and they're still like winning like races, which means we're doing something fundamentally wrong strategically on the left, and that starts with the motherfucking DNC. They're the fucking problem. Because the GOP's going to do what the GOP's going to do. We can't control that shit. We're not going to change them. The fact of the matter is the DNC does not work for us as a fucking mechanism against the right. It maintains the status quo, which favors the right. Because they care more about maintaining their position next to the right than defeating the right.
Couple of points here. First, Bukowski 1356 joined. Yo, y'all follow fucking Bukowski. He's got a fucking shit ton of good content on his. He's always putting that stuff out there. Props to you, man. Follow Change the System. She's also got a bunch of good stuff.
Unless you like Brussels sprouts.
Unless you like.
Or don't like them. Yeah.
It's a credibility thing with me and her now. It's Bukowski says it's not a good thing to infight, but that tells you we're not a cult. You have to have differences. Exactly.
But to that point, what you have to do is you have to recognize when it's time to have those conversations. When it's motherfucking vote time, those motherfuckers get in line. We gotta win with the numbers we have. Then once we get into position, then we have healthy debate and dialogue about how to move forward. Then we have that, which we even hear them out. That's when you utilize what you got. Because we should be able to blow this shit to whatever we want, to the point where we can concede certain olive branches to them if we want to or need be. But we're not good strategically because we're not utilizing all the resources we clearly have to win where it matters.
Right back at you. Change the system. We got you. You all right. You all right, even with the Brussels sprouts shit, we'll look past it for you. No one else, though. You're the only one I would do that for. Yeah. The rest of them kind of, Now, to Justin, that point,
good point.
We need to fucking organize. We need to organize. We need people engaged on social media. Fire up your Facebook account. I know a lot of people.
Stacey Abrams is a rock star. Stacey Abrams is a rock star. That does her just like service, honestly. She's not even a rock star. She's a great stateswoman. She's an amazing.
Oh, we got Change the System's coming to Jacksonville to watch a Jags game.
That's so
fuck you, Matt. You're not invited. This is our year. We're gonna do it this year. You is shit talker
that's
about
like
the Jags.
Damn, that's like saying you're not invited to the fucking MAGA rally. Damn, Sam, I missed out. Oh, bummer. So
Yeah, Bukowski says he was scared shitless that people like Jimmy Dore was going to help lose the election at that point. Yeah, I honestly I pulled my punches on Biden during the
yeah,
general because is the consequences were too much. I'm not a huge Biden supporter, of course, but yeah, I couldn't. Sometimes you gotta you gotta know who pick your enemy, and our
Mhm.
enemy isn't Biden in that race. Like
No.
our enemy's not AOC. Like people want to bash her. She's not the enemy. She's the closest thing to an ally you've got up there, and you know,
Yeah. So three things I'm going to address to POTUS's point, which I think we all kind of understand. It's been a theme of the probably the last 20 minutes. I say is we have to move past the illusion of both parties. We have to understand the GOP, in terms of its impact on the nation, is a little bit different than the DNC, but ultimately they both care about maintaining the status quo, which relates to the American empire, and that impacts the nation and the entire globe. And that's where the corporations, the military-industrial complex, right, big tech, corporate media, legacy media, all this shit, they all come into play to kind of maintain that ship, right? But they kind of give us the illusion, right, of what's going on within here. But I do want to dive into a good question. Let's kind of, because it's easy to kind of bitch about these things from a macro sense, but what's something we can actually dive into and maybe help solve? And that's policing. Because there's some identifiable things I think if we walk away with in terms of information, we can kind of help share the message. So some things that are really important to understand that when it comes to the issue of policing, there's some key kind of flashpoints. All right. So by flashpoints, I kind of mean like key target areas of action. So for example, look at police unions and go look this shit up once we end this conversation, guys, because it's kind of hard for me to like give you off the top of my head. But just kind of follow up on this. All right. So if you got like a pen or a paper or something, write it down. All right. Follow up on police unions and look at their contracts and look at kind of what's built in those contracts and how much goes towards like overtime, things like that. Look at which departments are over militarized as it relates to different like kind of contracts they have in terms of the guns they get and things like that for the military industrial complex that are no longer on the front lines. We need to look at qualified immunity. All right. Certain states are starting to move against that.
While you're on those police unions, let me say this. This is how they fucking suck. Police unions destroying records of police misconduct, tossing out misconduct complaints, delaying, restricting interrogations of officers, giving officers preferential access to evidence, restricting disciplinary consequences. They don't get punished when requiring communities fund misconduct. This is what these unions are fucking doing. Now I'm pro-union.
And to your point right here, and here's why it's not. And to your point, this shit's more complex than people realize. So, for example, you hear all that, and you're like, okay, so we need like body cams, for example, then, right, to like see what's going on. Except here's the problem with that. With body cams, what good's a body cam if the unions and the contracts and all that shit can block the public from actually seeing the footage? No fucking good. Then it literally just helps them because it serves as an evidence gathering mechanism for them, but we have no utilization of it ourselves. So it's not enough just to implement body cams. It has to also be publicly available. And you need multiple body cams because there's tailored angles and shit like that, right? To your point, we have to get rid of police unions or at least significantly alter the power of police unions. And again, most of your police shootings, they stem from departments that are over aggressive and often they're over militarized. If you look at the example of what was it, the city of New Jersey, they actually ended up pretty much they ended their contract with the police union. They only hired back less than 50% of the previous cops. They wouldn't have to re-engage that CBA, right, the collective bargaining agreement. And then they changed to a way more community oriented practice. So instead of being like reactive and trying to get there after crimes happen, they were already there building relationships with the community and stuff like that, right? Actually there with the people day to day. Then when shit actually happened, there was some trust built up and they would respond, right? Like they actually feel like they could actually follow up with the cops because they knew who they were. It wasn't just some random person kind of bad showing up for the first time ever who they don't really trust, they don't know, right? Who's a product of the system, who's kind of abused the community before, right? They've broken down that kind of barrier. So,
yeah, there's a couple of good sites. One group is I think running both of them. JoinCampaignZero.com. They've got evidence-based like actual policies like ready to go. Perfect. It's like end broken windows policing. Broken windows is like the going around looking for crime shit, like that shit. Community oversight.
The numbers show that doesn't work. Yeah.
It doesn't. Community oversight. Limit use of force. Independently investigate and prosecute bad cops. Community representation. Body cams filming the police. The training. Fucking A. End for-profit policing. Demilitarization. Fair police union contracts. They're not even calling for the end of police unions. They're calling for
just fair contracts. Exactly, just fair contracts. Exactly.
And
I mean,
this is
that's what I
stuff
think.
that should be done.
So that's the thing. The police thing to me is actually pretty easy to actually identify what you need to do. It's not like it's like one of those things where like I don't know what we have to do. It's pretty clear what we have to do. It's just a matter of putting motherfucking pressure now, because the action's been
Yep.
identified. Now it's putting it into action.
Yep. We
So-
need to hammer home the footage and the videos of the police brutality that occurred during the George Floyd
And you got to
protest
hit your
against
local congressman up.
protesters.
Email your congressman. Call their local offices. Talk to their staff. Harass their fucking Twitter pages, right? About local action or legislation that they can sign on to and things like this. So
Yep. There's a couple of great sites. One, I'll try to make another video on this one after the stream, but there's a open spreadsheet put together by a journalist and of every single incident of police brutality that occurred during the George Floyd protest. It has the city, state, date, description of the event, link to the fucking video. You can watch it. It's like 2,000 incidents long now, and it's just this giant Google Doc or Google spreadsheet. If you watch that, one time early on before they got to 2000, I downloaded them all and made a 2.5 hour video of nonstop.
It's tough to watch, dude. It's tough to watch.
It is. It is.
It makes
The
you so
motherfuckers
fucking
are
mad.
thugs, is what it is. The police are fucking thugs. I never call the police for fucking nothing. There's only one reason I'd ever call them. That's if I wanted someone to throw a flashbang in my fucking living room and shoot the family pet in front of the kids. And I never want that, so I don't call the fucking police.
I'll call the
Fuck
fucking
that.
cops. That's what I said. If there's a problem, I'll be handling that shit. And if it goes bad for me, that's on me.
You end up getting in fucking more trouble yourself, even if you're in the right.
They're too reactionary. They're too reactionary. They're not trained. Dude, all the cops I know, personally, for the most part, there's a couple that are pretty smart. For the most part, not the smartest dudes, who are washed up jocks, who like contact, who want a reason to be aggressive, and becoming a cop is actually not that fucking difficult. 6 months.
Yeah, change the system.
I got an ex who was becoming doing hairstyles, a lot of shit. She had dude, her school and her training for that was far more extensive than my buddies who were cops.
Dude. Change the system says they've done studies and found police are members of white supremacist groups. That's true.
FBI's got reports on it. DOJ's got reports on it. Further, check this out. Also, they know this. If you are if a cop's been to college, if they have a college education, I could flip the numbers around, but it's either 30% this way or 40% that way. But they're 30% less likely to pull their weapon and 40% less likely to use force. And it might be like 40% one, but you know what I'm saying. But those are the two numbers for those two things. So they're far less likely to pull their weapon, utilize force, and end up killing someone if they have a college education.
LA County.
You mean learning critical thinking skills might like impact how you handle a situation? Whoa, go fucking figure.
In a LA County jail, the sheriffs actually had a gang in the 90s. They killed a bunch of inmates in it.
They still have a gang, dude. They still have a gang right now. Like where they tat themselves up in certain ways. They fucking like they celebrate the anniversary of shootings and shit. I forget their name, but yeah, dude, they still have it now.
Yeah, white supremacists have infiltrated the FBI. Kitty was saying that she read an article on that. But they got this tactic. They call it ghost skins, and a ghost skin is a white supremacist that
who
has
plays
no
the role
tabs.
of a good member of society.
Yep, they blend in.
They don't know. They don't know you're a skinhead. They don't know you're a white supremacist. They don't know you're a Nazi. You play the nice good dude.
Yep,
well, here's what
but they're operating as if they're at war.
Do you know how many people were open KKK like 70, 80 years ago? Like maybe 100 years ago now? There's like 22, 23 million at one point.
Wow.
When Martin Luther King was assassinated by our government, 74% of America had a deep disapproval of him. These motherfuckers are now like who were 20 then are now 65, 70. They're not gone. They didn't just disappear.
Did you say 75% of Americans had a deep disapproval
of Martin Luther King at the time of his death? 74%.
God damn.
And the people who were like 15 to 20 to 25 at that time, many of them are alive. That's the majority of our government right now. The 70-year-old dinosaurs.
They're running things.
Yes. And here's the question. What were we taught? What were most of us taught in school growing up in the aftermath of Martin Luther King's assassination by the government? What did the government who assassinated him teach us about him in that time period? Oh, they taught us that this great hero ended racism, and now we're all colorblind, and it's all fixed. It's all good. So no wonder these motherfuckers just went fucking ostrich mode, because it's easier to fucking accept that message than to confront what the fuck you've done.
Yep.
We're a bunch of sissies.
Yo, hey, I think I'm gonna get going over to this other live stream. We're gonna be popping off here.
Got
So
you.
yeah, thanks
All
for
right, so
fucking having me on. Then
am
thank you for
am I
all.
heading over there with you?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, we're gonna
Dope.
be
All right,
So
everyone. So good news is, since I switched my days off this week, so I got a house sit for my parents because their dog has attachment issues and they're not going to be home. So I'll be taking care of the dog. So I got a couple days off work. So I'll probably go live a lot because I'll probably bored over there out of my mind with like nothing really to do besides hang out with a really cool dog. So we'll catch up next couple days. Appreciate everyone who's in here. Do me a favor, follow Cheyenne for UBI. She's right there. Follow Care Bear. Follow each other. Keep having these conversations. Talk about the shit with your friends. Follow
yeah,
Resist for Humanity, even though he's a dipshit. And
yo,
yeah, we'll be
yo,
doing
we're
this more.
going to Twitch. We'll be on Twitch, and if anyone wants to join us too, like you're more than welcome to hop on and have some chats with us. Like we'd love to fucking have you. So
Oh
just send
yeah,
a
and
message in
subscribe.
DM or
Yeah,
something.
so subscribe to Mute the Media on YouTube, and yeah, jump into Twitch. So what is it? One last time there, Twitch. Resist for Humanity.
Resist for Humanity. Yeah, it's like twitch.tv/resist for humanity. We'll be over
For
there.
or FOR.
Spelled out, I think.
Yeah, so we're gonna be. So you can check us out.
Spelled out.
It's gonna be way more informal. It'll just be kind of boom. So see, that's why Shy is amazing. So Cheyenne for you by follower, she's put it in the chat right there. It's gonna be twitch.tv/resist for FOR Humanity. We'll be over there just shooting the shit. Follow us over there, guys. I'll meet you in a second. I'm just gonna wrap up here.
Yep. See you,
Later, bro.
Bukowski. See you guys. Late.
All right, so like I said, I'll be heading over there in a second, so feel free to follow over. I appreciate everyone's in here. I'll be doing this more often because typically I work in the morning and afternoons, anyways. But yeah, if you got like good creators, if you yourself want to hop into a live, just hit me up and we can do dual lives, have conversations, talk about shit. Appreciate you guys being here, and we'll do this tomorrow probably. All right, later, guys.